Good morning friends and welcome back. Now this session we are going to devote on AED 1, that is export procedures and documentation. And in this topic we are basically going to talk about how shipment takes place. It will be a 45 minutes again talk. And here in the beginning itself I would like to request you that because it is a very interesting areas, documentation is itself a very interesting area. So whenever you feel you find any problems, any queries, you are most welcome to ask us and I'll be happy to respond your questions. So what today we are going to discuss, that shipment of export cargo, and major two areas we'll be discussing. As you all know that the moment goods are ready, now you know to look for the transportation, what are the modes of the transportation, how you charter a ship, what are the various methods of chartering of the ship, how you go for the quality control and pre-shipment inspection. This is the first part. And the second part, how you go for the customs clearance of export cargo, and then how you go for the loading of the export cargo on the ship. So first part is about voyage, liner shipping services and pre-shipment inspection, and the second part is your custom clearance and the actual shipment of the goods. So we are going to discuss both the parts right now, but again I would like to repeat you that the telephone numbers are given on the screen. You can talk any moment, any time. If you feel any problem, you are most welcome and you must call to us so that there should be an interaction also. Let us start with the shipment of export cargo. The first thing here is there about packing of goods. Now you all know that there are containers available in different size, standardized size. So when containers are available, what you need to do, the bundle, the pack which you are going to put in a particular things, that must be according to the container. And the process of putting the goods into the container, whole process is known as containerization. Now look at the chart. When you talk about the containerization, it has certain advantages, and advantages are, the first is speed and economy of handling. As I told you that when the container is made up of the standard size, and you know that what is the width, what is the length, what is the dimension of that container. Based on that dimension, what you do, you make the bundle so that it is fitted into the containers very easily. So speed and economy of handling. The handling becomes very easier for the third party, and it goes in a quite speedily. The speed is increased in that movement area. Second is safety, both with regard to breakage and pilferage. You know, when the things are put into the container, because container is made up of a strong element, so it becomes very hard. Therefore there is a least risk, or it is quite safe in both, as well as nobody can break it, or there won't be the chances of pilferage in the container. Next is your greater efficiency due to less rehandling of individual packages. Obviously here the packages are put together. So in the individual packages there is a handling and rehandling, lot of things are involved in that, but in the container these things are being avoided. Next is your less packaging cost. Obviously if you send the things without container, the packaging cost would be quite higher, and safety will also be not taken care of. Here the packaging cost is less because you put into the one bundle of the things and then you are putting into the container. Less cost of insurance and handling. Cost of insurance is reduced. Handling also, there is a less cost in the handling. Next is your door-to-door transport services. When you are when you are taking a container, when you are putting the goods into the container, sending into the container can be and the manufacturer door, and you put your goods into the container and that can be delivered to your buyer place, doorstep of the buyers. So container provides services from door to one person, that is the seller, to the door of the buyer. Now the next is your packaging. See, while packaging the goods and putting into the container, you must take into consideration two things. One, the packaging must be strong enough so that it is able to bear the rigor of the journey. You know, in the journey in the sea voyage, the rigor is very hard. Rigor is very strong. So therefore it must be strong enough to bear that rigor, that is threshold, or whatever is the force of that that force must be able to bear. And second, it must be light enough so that you know that it involves cost also. So if it is light enough, you need to pay less cost. Next, your marking and labeling of goods. As you all know that there may be several bundles whenever you are sending it. Now when you are unloading the goods from the container, each bundle must be marked in a particular way so that removal, that is unloading of the goods, becomes very easier. Therefore you need to put a mark. Mark may be in terms of symbol, in terms of triangle, whatever, a square, whatever the prevalent way is there. So you are marking the pack, upper side of the pack, so that it becomes easier. Sometimes what happens, you want that your goods should not be exposed in the moisture, your goods should not be exposed into the water, into the sun. So in that case you also put a mark on the upper side of the bundle that it should be protected from the sun, it should be protected from, there are symbols for all these things. Suppose if you want that it is a dangerous commodity, handle with care, or if it is a glass fragile commodity, it must be lifted one way, so you need to put that particular mark, so that symbol, with the symbol, the third party, the person who are putting this into the, from one place to other place, they must take enough care whenever they are handling it. Second is labeling of the goods. See, look, you must be wearing some, let us say, some of the woolen garments. If it is quite expensive or branded products, then backside of the garments it is labeled there that only dry wash or wash in 30 degrees centigrade, wash in 2 degrees, whatever the degree centigrade is being given, you are supposed to wash into that particular 30 degree, 40 degree, whatever is prescribed there. So you are supposed to wash into that particular degree, or if sometimes it is written that it should be a dry wash, so you need to go for the dry wash, you need not go for the wet wash in that case. For the example, pharmaceuticals products, medicines, you whole ingredients is being written there, and then there is a date of manufacturing, expiry date, etc., etc. The constituents, ingredients, etc. is being labeled on the pharmaceutical product. So you need to do marking and labeling of the goods. Next is your nature of export cargo. There are basically three types of the export cargo. One is rush cargo. This is speed is most important for this rush cargo. For example, there are flowers, there are vegetables which may be spoiled very shortly. Therefore, the speed is a very important consideration in the rush cargo. Second sort of cargo is your bulk cargo. The features of the bulk cargo are large quantity. Second is demand does not change frequently. See, basically it is sent in a very large quantity. And second, the demand is not changing frequently. For example, iron ore is there. The demand of the iron ore will not change frequently. So, see, we are discussing these things because you need to have a different variety of the ship which may carry this sort of the commodity. So in the bulk cargo, demand does not change frequently. Third is free from product development, because there is not always new development taking place in the bulk cargo, in the commodities which are put into the bulk cargo. So they are new products are not being provided. Therefore these are the free from product development, new product. Low unit cost, because it is sent, it is transported in a large quantity, therefore the per unit cost is lesser. Next, transported and warehoused at lower cost. It is the cost of transportation is lesser than the other forms of cargo, and examples are primary commodities, for example iron ore, food grains, etc. The third type of the cargo is known as general cargo. In the general cargo, these are the cargo which are primarily manufactured, semi-manufactured, processed or semi-processed goods. So that is value added goods are here, most of the goods are here. And the second feature of this cargo are the fast changes in demand. The demand of this sort of cargo changes very fast. For example, there is a fashion garment, textiles, clothes. Now fashion garments, every time you find the demand of that garment changing. The new varieties of products are there. For example, electronic goods, every time the size is being reduced, or new technology or new features are being added in that. So there is a change in demand very, very fast in this sort of the things. Next is higher unit value. Because the demand changes fast, new products are being introduced very fast. So the per unit value of this sort of products are quite higher than that of the bulk cargo. Higher per unit transportation and warehouse cost. For example, if you are sending computer, now when you are sending computer, the cost of the transportation will be higher because it must be transported very, very safely. So the equipments which are needed in the transportation must be sophisticated, which suits, which the rigor of the journey is not, jerk should not be very, very high in that journey. So in that case, there is a per unit transportation cost and warehousing cost or a storing cost is very, very higher in this case. Examples are engineering goods, you have leather products, you have textiles, you have drugs, etc., etc. Because these are the products which which requires due diligence and care in transportation and all that. Now considering these three types of the cargo, you need to have that sort of shipping services also. So there are two types of shipping services. One is liner shipping services and another is tramp shipping services. Let us see what are the features of liner shipping services and tramp shipping services. Let us start with the liner shipping services. The first feature of liner shipping services is that it carries varieties of cargo. That means maybe textile products, maybe leather products, maybe whatever jewelries, whatever the products are, it is able to carry variety of cargo. The second feature is varied and sophisticated instruments. Because it is carrying varieties of cargo and each cargo may require different types of sophisticated instruments, therefore it is fitted with varied and sophisticated instruments. For example, there may be the textiles, that two different varieties of textiles which should not be folded, or there may be electronics gadgets which should not be exposed to much of that jerk on the way. So in that case you need sophisticated instruments which provides support to in the transportation of such sort of products. Next is your least possible time in the port. Because these are the products which may be required in the market immediately, so there is not much time. It should not be withheld for longer period of time in the port. So least possible time in the port. Operates regularly between fixed ports, and moreover what this sort of lining services does, it operates regularly between the fixed ports. For example, if there are certain shipping services from here to Dubai, from here to London, so it is fixed. The ports are being fixed, so it has been such sort of shipping services are operating regularly on that fixed port, and the time is also fixed that it is going to operate from this place to this place. Next is sophisticated and expensive propelling machinery. As I said you that this is very, very sophisticated instruments and products and commodities are being transported in in liner shipping services. So the liner shipping service is equipped with expensive propelling machinery. Pre-announced scheduled services. It is announced, scheduled services are scheduled and it is announced, pre-announced, so that the exporters or the person who are interested in transporting their goods from one place to another place, they know that these are the timing, these are the services available to them. Next is not negotiable. The terms and conditions are not negotiable because the routes are fixed, the services are fixed, schedules are fixed, so terms and conditions are not negotiable in such sort of shipping services. Next is fixed and stable freight rates. The freight rates, that is the freight which is being charged from the exporters and importers, those freight rates are fixed here and it is stable. Next service is known as Tramp shipping service. Let us see the features of the Tramp shipping services. First feature is your homogeneous cargo. In this sort of shipping services, the cargo is homogeneous. For example, if you are exporting food grains, you are exporting iron ore, you are exporting minerals, these are the cargoes which are basically homogeneous nature. That means if wheat you are exporting, then wheat only. Ores, iron ores only. So that's why it is called the bulk sort of cargo which is being exported or put into the Tramp shipping services. Next is simple equipment. In the liner shipping services, the equipment was quite sophisticated, but here the equipment is very simple because one type of cargo is being stuffed in the Tramp shipping services and homogeneous cargo is being put and transported through the Tramp shipping services. Next is your low unit value of commodities carried. Obviously, because it is homogeneous cargo and large quantity you are transporting large quantity of cargo into the Tramp shipping services, so the per unit cost value of the commodities carried is lower. Lowest possible cost is also less because it has one type of only space or room you need here, so therefore cost is reduced. Loading and discharging are confined. Obviously loading and discharging are confined and less expensive here because homogeneous cargo is there. Does not have a fixed route and predetermined schedule. In the Tramp shipping services, there is no fixed route or predetermined schedule. Terms and conditions not fixed. Just in opposition to that, in contrast to the earlier one, here the terms and conditions are not fixed. Now let us go to the another area, and that is chartering practices. Now you all know that after you have understood that the difference between the liner shipping services and Tramp shipping services, you understood that varieties of types of the cargo. Now the third aspect is there, that how you are going to hire a particular ship for carrying your goods from one place to other place. So there are three types of the chartering practices. One is voyage charter. As you know that voyage is important. Here there may be the single voyage, that is you are exporting the goods from here to London. There may be consecutive voyage, that means you are exporting the goods from here, London to New York. There may be the round voyage, that you are exporting the goods from here, London, New York, London, back to Delhi. So it depends that if you are having single voyage, consecutive voyage or a round voyage. Now in voyage charter, what happens here, there is an agreed quantity of cargo from named port. Whatever the port has been suggested, whatever the quantity of the cargo has been decided by both the party, this sort of in the voyage charter agreed quantity of cargo, it takes from the named port. Now here ship owners meet all expenses of running the ship, officers and crew wages, stores and provisions, insurance of ship, depreciation, and also operating expenses like fuel cost, port charges, light duty, etc. All these expenses are being borne by the ship owner here. Next is your time charter. In the time charter, what happens, time is the important. There in the first one, in the voyage charter, the voyage was important. Here time is very important. So there is a fixed time period here. For example, you are hiring the ship for 1 month, for 2 months, for 3 months, whatever. So the time is very important here. What happens in this time charter, there is a defined territories between ports define territories between ports, and in the time also for 2 months the ports or territories are defined. For example, if you have hired from here to Dubai to London, now in that case you cannot deviate from London to other Netherlands or Germany or some other ports, because here the ports are being defined between the person who is selling and between the person who is buying, between both the persons, or the charterer and the person who are providing you the ship, both. So because it has been defined the territories and ports, so you need to voyage, you need to put or you need to transport your goods into that, through that ports only. Beyond that you should not do it. It is the charterer's responsibility here for scheduling the ships, employment, meeting port expenses, canal dues, fuel costs, cargo expenses, etc. Here these are the responsibility of the charterers, that you are going to hire the crew members and other persons, you are going to meet the expenses of the port, whatever is required there, you are supposed to make payment for the canal dues, fuel cost, cargo expenses, etc. Here the ship owners, they meet running expenses of officers and crew wages, store, provisions, insurance, whereas charterers can either operate themselves or sublet the vessel on voyage charter. See here, this is again important feature of the time charter. That means if you have hired a ship for 6 months, now you have hired the ship for 6 months. After 3 months, if the prices of the freight of that ship goes up, what you can do, either you can operate yourself or you can also sublet that ship, because by subletting sometimes maybe if the freight price goes up, the chances are that you may get benefit or you may get profit out of that increase in the freight rate. So here there is a feature that the charterers can either operate himself or herself, or the charterers may sublet the vessel on voyage charter. Expenditure wise, the charterers have greater responsibility under the time charter compared to voyage charter. Obviously, when you are taking for a particular time, particular period, and here the responsibility of the charterer may be a bit more than the earlier mode of transportation. Here what happens, they have more responsibility, they have to spend a bit more on the running expenditure and all that. Now the third type of chartering of ship is that is known as bareboat charter or charter by demise. In this form of chartering practice, what happens, you let out the bare ship for a period of time. Here you are giving a bare ship for the charterer, and that too for a particular period of time. In this form of chartering practices, the ship owners have the minimum responsibility. Here ship owners have the minimum responsibility because the rest of the responsibilities are being borne by the charterers. Charterers in this case become the disponent owners of the ship. Disponent owners means he is a deemed owner of the ship, because the ship is given to him in a sort of bare minimum, in a seaworthy condition the ship is there, and that ship is being given to the charterer. The charterers are responsible for manning as well as operating the ship. Whatever persons, crew members, charterer wanted, charterer may hire the way he wanted to hire, and the way he wanted to make expenditure on the operating of the ship, he will do. The charterers have a right to appoint the master and chief engineer subject to the approval of the owners. In this case, charterer can also appoint the master and ship engineer on the ship, but it may be, the approval may be sought from the owners. That means both should agree on the appointment of master and chief engineers. Next, they bear all costs and expenses for the operation of the ship. In this case, in the bareboat charter, what happens? The charterer, they bear all costs and expenses for the operation of the ship. Now, after this voyage charter, time charter and bareboat charter, these three were the methods for hiring a ship, how you are going to hire a ship. Now, the next important area of the shipment procedure is pre-shipment inspection. As you all must be aware that the export goods should not be shipped without the proper assurance of the quality in the goods. That means you need to ship only qualitative products outside the country, because the name of the country, the goodwill of the country is also involved in the export products. Therefore, you are supposed to ship only qualitative products outside your country. In India, you have Export Inspection Council, which is responsible for ensuring or controlling quality in a product. The basic objective of Export Inspection Council is to formulate and supervise the inspection schemes with the help of export inspection agencies. What they do, how to inspect, the schemes and strategy related to the inspection is being formulated by the Export Inspection Council with the help of export inspection agencies. Now, there are three types of the inspection. The first type is your consignment-wise inspection. In the consignment-wise inspection, what happens? Each and every export consignment is subjected to detailed inspection. That means whenever you finish your cargo, whenever you finish bundle that, now every consignment which you are sending to exporter, to importers, now every consignment must be inspected by an inspector. So each and every export consignment is subjected to detailed inspector. The exporter has to apply to the export inspection agency. Obviously, in every major town you have export inspection agency. As soon as your goods are ready for the inspection, what you need to do, you need to inform the export inspection agency of your area, and from there the inspector will visit to you. So here there is a document known as notice of information. On this notice of information, you need to attach cross-check or demand draft for inspection fee. For every inspection there is a fee prescribed by the export inspection agency. So you need to enclose cross-check or demand draft for inspection fee. Second, you need to enclose copy of commercial invoice. Third, copy of the export contract. And fourth, importer's technical specification. Importer's technical specifications means whenever importers orders you for buying certain commodities, the importers also specify that importers wanted this type, this variety, this ingredient, this quality, this color, etc., etc. So based on the specification of the importers, you need to supply your goods accordingly to the importers. So this is called importers technical specification. With all these documents along with the notice of information, you need to submit it to the export inspection agency, and when export inspection agency goes through it, export inspection agency appoints an inspector. The inspector visits to your premise and inspects every consignment. And if he finds that the consignment is satisfactory, that is the quality is worthy, that is the quality products is of high quality which is exportable one. Once he is satisfied with the quality of the products, then they provides you the inspection certificate, and that inspection certificate you need to send along with your other documents. The second type of quality control is known as in-process quality control. In the in-process quality control, what happens, every export unit is approved as export-worthy unit. Export-worthy units means it is worth exporting unit. It has all the necessary facilities which are required for exporting the goods. So the export inspection agency, they approve your unit as an export worthy unit. Second is, the agency will issue certificate of inspection on the declaration by the unit. That means once your firm declares about the export, so based on the declaration of your firm or unit, the export inspection agency will issue you the certificate of inspection. Next is, for obtaining the inspection certificate, the exporters submit the following documents. First is your notice of intimation, then cross-check demand draft for fee, a copy of commercial invoice, and importer's technical specification. As earlier it was already discussed, these documents are being supplied along with that notice of intimation. Once these are satisfied and you declare also, then export inspection agency, they will issue that certification. That is, on receipt of these documents, the agency will issue inspection certificate. The third type of quality control in pre-shipment inspection is self-certification. In the self-certifications, what happens? The agency, they prescribes the norms, that they prescribe the standards, and based on that norms, if the unit is possessing all that norms, then the units is entitled, or units are given the status for self-certification. And that norms are, one is your product quality. If some unit is known for the quality, if some export organization is known for its quality products, that means previously it has been exporting a very high standard quality products, the products has no complaint yet, and they are known for the quality. Second is design and development. As you are aware that every organization has a procedure of design and development, unique design, better design. The development procedure is very strong, very stringent development procedures. So both from the beginning of the designing and development, there is a procedures which are strictly followed by all the persons involved in that particular organization. Next is your raw material or bought out components. As you all know that quality to a large extent depends on the input factors. So what is the procedures for procuring inputs? How do you procure raw material? With whom do you procure raw materials? Or how you are buying the components which are needed in the procedure, in the machinery and all that, whatever is needed, how do you do that? So procuring of raw material, bought out components, etc., etc. Next is your organization and personnel of quality control. Obviously, the personnel matters a lot. That who are the skilled person or qualified persons who are engaged in the procedure of maintenance of quality. So what types of persons are involved in that, how much they are qualified, whether they are suitable for that or not. So skilled persons who are deputed or who are engaged in ensuring the quality. Next is your process control. As you all know that the whole range of the production input and up to the output, up to the final product, there is a procedure involved in that. How you are going to manage and control the whole process of input and output. Next is your laboratory. What types of laboratory you have to check the sample of the products, to check the whole procedure of the product, to check the whole production activities there, how you are going to have, what types of laboratory you have. Next is your quality audit. This quality audit is very important because after all your main focus is to send a quality product across outside the country, because your product is associated with the name of your country also. So therefore what type of quality audit you are ensuring or you are following in your own export organization. Next is your packaging. How you are going to follow the whole. There is a Indian Institute of Packaging institutions here in Mumbai, and they provide you all the necessary features, all the necessary. They are having 2 years program also, and they provide you all the way of methods of packaging, etc. After sale service, what type of after sale service you are going to provide, because not only during the sale services but after the sale also services is needed. Housekeeping and maintenance, how you are maintaining housekeeping. So these were the 3 methods for the quality control. Now as you all know that ISO 9000 series has become a very important way of ensuring quality across the globe. Let us see what ISO 9000 is. ISO 9000 is a series of international standards for quality systems. They provide models for quality assurance in designing, developing, producing, installing and servicing. So what they are providing you, they provide you the models of quality assurance, that is how you are going to assure quality in the area of designing. That means whenever you are designing a pen, whenever you are designing instruments, a machinery, so what process you need to follow while designing a particular products. Developing the products, after the designing, how you are going to develop the products, what stages are involved in the development of the products. Next, producing the products. When you are engaged in the actual production, in that case, what are the procedures involved in the actual production, how you are going to produce so that you produce wastage is reduced and you produce high quality. Next, you installing. When the machine is being installed in the particular place, how you are going to install it. And next is your servicing, how you are extending the servicing facility. So it provides you the model of designing, developing, producing, installing and servicing. So these days all over the world now the buyers and sellers, they are focusing on the ISO 9000 series of standards for the quality assurance. Now the major benefit of ISO 9000 are, you have better product design, obviously because you know the procedures of the design. Improve product quality, because from the input up to the output or up to the making goods available to the clients, besides the after sale services, etc. are being standardized in this. Whole procedures are highly standardized, therefore you get improved product quality. Next is your reduction in the scrap rework. The scrap is drastically reduced because the whole methodology is being standardized. Next is your efficient utilization of men, machines and materials. Here men, machines, materials, all these things are standard, so they become quite efficient. Elimination of bottlenecks in production. The bottlenecks are removed because things are standardized and focus is on the smooth flow of the things. Creation of quality awareness in the whole organization. Every part of the organization, everybody involved in the procedures are highly aware of the quality of the things. Improvement of confidence among customers, and customers' confidence also goes up. Improvement of company image, ultimately the image of company's image, that also goes up. Now the next is your role of clearing and forwarding agent. After the quality control, what you do, you hire an agent which is known as clearing and forwarding agent. Clearing and forwarding agents, they are basically links between the owner of goods and owners of means of transport. They advise you the exporter's own trade laws. They provide you transport and handling cost information. They provide you packing, marking, labeling information and how to do that. They arrange your transport. They complete customs and port formalities. They prepare and procure your documents, and they keep on educating the exporters on development in transports. Now, once you have already appointed the clearing and forwarding agent, then the next step is your custom clearance and actual shipment. Now, why customs clearance is all about you get? Why do you go for the customs clearance of export cargo? The first is to ensure that nothing goes out of the country against the laws. Second is to ensure authenticity of the value. Third is to assess and realize export duty. Fourth is to check relevant regulatory provisions. Next is to provide export data. Now the custom clearance, what you do, you check the documents, verify the quantity and rate of the duty. Then you direct for the physical examination goods, you conduct the physical examination goods, and then you put on the board. Now documents, you know that shipping bill is the important document for this purpose. Now what you do here, customs appraiser and examiner will give you examination order. They give you the order for the physical examination, and the said appraiser or the examiner would carry out the physical examination based on the report of the customs officer. What happens here, the said appraiser is there, or they go for the physical examination, and the basis of the physical examination is report of the customs appraiser there. Now based on that, if they are satisfied, they put a stamp that is known as late export order. Now it is put near the dock. There you have officer called customs preventive officer. If customs preventive officer is satisfied, they put a stamp is known as late ship order. Once late ship order is put on that, now it is put on the board, that is on the vessel, on the ship. Now when the masters of the carrier, they provide you a document known as mate's receipt. Now once you get the mate's receipt, based on this mate's receipt, the company provides you bill of lading. So this was the whole procedure of shipment of export cargo. Now we are going to have break. Now again the next session will be at 1 o'clock. We are going to have 15 minutes break. Next session will start at 1 o'clock. Thank you very much participants. Thank you.